Welcome everybody to another episode of Animation Reaction.
That's right, guys. We are back once again. Except this time, we are looking at
All right, good.
Got a little lightheaded there for a second. Turn that off.
In the previous episode, you guys suggested that we look back at Llama Arts, a channel that I have spoken to in the past, who makes probably some of the best animations on YouTube in the horror department. They're extremely entertaining. And without any further ado, let us jump in! Oh, and also, guys, for 10,000 wampum, I'll do another episode. Wampum are... Wait a second! Make sure you leave a caption to be at the end of the next video. Okay, continue. A creepy Deep Web Story 2 animated. Says I've watched this much. Okay, this one's a little bit longer, by the way, so strap in, guys. Get your candy, get your sody pops, get your cigs, get your doinks.
I was 26 years old, and I was unemployed. Feeling unfulfilled by the monotony of a job life, I decided to try my hand at working from home. So my days and nights comprised me of surfing the internet for any jobs.
These animations are great, by the way.
I was a big procrastinator, so more often than not, I'd stray away and waste time doing other things.
How's it going, bros? Hey, get him out of here! That's my thing. I do this. Does PewDiePie do that?
I came across talk about the deep web while on Reddit. I felt amused by the people talking about it as if it was something so scary.
Deep web freaks me out.
Decided I'd look into it.
No.
It was stupid of me to go on it in the first place.
Yeah.
But I made it even sillier by deciding to check it out late at night. It was about 2 a.m. and I came across a website where you could chat with someone anonymously.
Why are you doing this? I always meet the sexiest people on the deep web. Am I right, guys? I just got stabbed by a deep web guy and then let out a guttural moan as I fucking died!
The person I got was a woman. She was in her early 20s and
not a lot of women on the deep web.
She sat with her head in her hands, looking playful into the webcam while batting her eyes.
Imagine batting your eyes.
Turned my camera on and started our chat, thinking that while I didn't come across anything scary, I could befriend this pretty girl. It sounded like a better deal anyway.
What?
He told me to turn the camera on, but I ignored that request and tried to get her to talk. She finally did after some prodding, but I noticed how guarded she was.
This is just Deep Web Amigo.
I also noticed how after every message I sent, her eyes would look off camera, either to her side or somewhere behind her computer.
She's a Russian.
After a while, it started getting annoying, so I asked her if someone else was there with her.
So is it just me or is that guy's eyes?
She said. Up until now, I'd been chatting while she'd answered my questions verbally.
This is freaking me out already, guys.
I'm not that curious.
Don't be scared.
She said, laughing.
This animation is so good!
Looking behind the laptop again and making a face that seemed to indicate she was laughing at my expense. With someone else.
Oh my god.
This is getting boring. It feels like I'm not just talking to you.
This is getting boring. Show me your titties. Oh my god. What a chauvinist, misogynist pig. Gosh.
That's because you're not. You're talking to all of us.
Who else is there?
Turn your camera on.
Is this a joke?
No.
Turn it on.
Okay. I'll be leaving now.
Turn on the camera.
Her laughter was almost piercing by now. There was nothing humorous about the situation, yet she threw her head back with riotous laughter. I'd had enough and moved the cursor over to turn the chat box off when I saw the cursor had jammed. The only thing that was working was the chat box, and I still had access to the keyboard.
It's gonna connect.
Turn the camera on, sweetie.
Her gumdrop-filled voice was louder than before when I moved my gaze up to see her smiling toothfully at the camera. Her face still beautiful, but the smile completely fake. My computer's crashed. I can't see the screen.
Just smile and wave.
I lied. I didn't want her to know I had no option but to chat. Her screen flashed before going blank. There was nothing there but a black screen. I felt relieved, thinking that at least I didn't need to talk to her while I tried to figure out what happened to the screen.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Just
I'm gonna get so scared.
A chat message popped up.
Open the damn camera.
The aggressiveness in the message frightened me. Now, the fact that I couldn't see her face while she typed this made me feel nervous.
Oh my god.
I didn't dare reply back, but then the cursor moved. I watched shell-shocked as the cursor twirled around the screen.
No, cover your camera!
I still didn't make a move. There was no way anything good would be waiting for me if I did what she asked. The screen began flickering, as if a virus was causing the computer to writhe in agony.
Do you want me to find you?
My heart
I hate
raced.
this!
Could it be possible she knew where I was? I started
Bud
typing,
moment!
"Please stop bothering me."
Then turn on the fucking camera.
By this point, I
Stop
thought she
it.
was some kind of sadist who got her kicks by scaring unassuming people in chat rooms.
Poor long-haired
I
boys!
obliged and turned the webcam on. I saw my frightened face staring into the screen. Judging by my face, my attempts at looking tough were painfully unsuccessful. I asked
What do you
around
want?
for the girl looking straight
What
into
did you
the
wanna
camera,
see?
telling
Just
her
a
I did what
badass,
she
that's
wanted
all.
and to stop hacking into my computer. There were several seconds of silence. I kept my stare directed to the little box that showed her camera feed, but it was pitch black.
This is freaking me
I
out.
motioned into the camera in confusion, feeling as if she was messing with me now.
What are you doing, lady?
I saw another message.
Show me your pecker.
As of staring at those words,
Show me your
I
pecker.
looked back at her camera, but my computer instantly malfunctioned, and I received another message.
Look here. Don't look up.
The chat was filled with nonsensical gibberish. She typed with
Dude, this
such
animation is
ferocious
insane.
speed, my screen whirled away with her constant messages. I couldn't understand what was going on. I didn't look up. My patience ran thin, and I wrote back,
Punch the camera.
"What is this supposed to mean?"
Punch the camera and do a
Response
helicopter.
came. I read only the letters in bold and
Look
shuddered.
up.
I looked back into her webcam and I fell back into my chair, my eyes widening. She was back there, only her face looked completely demented. She had a savage expression, devoid of emotion. Her eyes
Dude.
were almost popping out of their sockets, and she
This
was
is such a
huffing
good
as if
animation.
she
This is
had
crazy.
extreme amounts of pent-up rage. The way she looked
God.
directly into the camera made me feel she despised me with all of her being.
He's fucking hinged,
No
dude.
amusement there anymore.
There's no monkey business
The
in this
camera
call.
went blank again. Then the chat popped up. My heart
Literally.
stopped again. For a split second, there had been the same blackness, only for the lights to come back on. She wasn't alone anymore. There was a
What is
man
that?
next to her with a black mask on.
Plague
He
doctor?
made no movements other than look into the camera like the girl. The girl's neck crept to her side. It looked like it was causing her pain. Not again. The
Looks like
chat
she has a bit of a
resumed.
crooked neck.
This time, I screamed in fright and fell off my chair. There was another man with them now. He was standing next to the girl with the original one on the other side. This man had the same mask on,
Dude,
but his
this is
hands were
insane.
grasping the girl's shoulders. Even with the subpar quality of the webcam, I could see the force with which the man dug his hands into the girl. It looked like he could rip her
This
in
is
two.
thoroughly freaking me out.
The girl, however, had a huge grin on her face. Her
He's
eyes were
enjoying this.
mad with glee, or so it looked. Her teeth
Oh
were
my
perfectly
God.
lined up as her mouth spread into that toothy grin, but I could see she was in pain. Even with the smallest sign of her smile fading, the man clenched his hands even tighter than before. It
No!
made her smile even wider.
This is all so illegal!
All three of them were shaking, as if it was extremely cold where they were. After a couple seconds,
Bunch
I
of
realized
fucking
they were
Canadians!
shuddering, like trying to hold back laughter.
What are you laughing at?
I yelled into the screen. They didn't answer, and continued to tremor with concealed hilarity.
What is so damn funny?
I bellowed.
There's gonna be something in the fucking window.
They stopped shaking. Within a couple seconds, the screen went black again. When it turned back on, the man no longer grasped the girl's shoulder. Neither was she smiling. All three
Why?
pointed into the camera. Upon a
Oh!
closer look, I understood
Oh.
that they weren't pointing at me. They were
Where's the
pointing
button?
behind me. I didn't need to look back. I could see myself in the webcam. There was someone peeking from behind me. It was
Crackhead
another
strength,
man in
come
a
on.
mask. And according to what I saw on my webcam, he was with me in my room, right behind me. I turned around quickly, but saw nothing where I had seen him in the webcam. I turned back towards the screen and to my bewilderment, saw a third man in the girl's chat box. It was the same man I had just seen standing in my room.
Joking her
Now, all three had their hands on the girl and were
Rip her
gripping
apart.
tight. The girl
Rip her
wasn't
apart.
laughing anymore. She had a look of utter devastation. A tear
She's
was
devastated.
dropping
You won't
from her
fucking
eye.
talk to her, you dick!
It wasn't just a tear. It was blood trickling down her eye socket.
This is literally a
She
horror
then
story.
mouthed the words, "Help me." And the next second, she screamed as if her lungs were being ripped off as the screen went black. I immediately got up and pulled the plug out of my computer and backed
They ripped
out
her
of the
apart
room.
Braveheart style.
For a couple seconds, I swear I heard her screams, even though the computer was unplugged. The room went quiet, but I was too devastated to sit there and ran out of my house despite it being
Oh
3 a.m. I caught a
You're
cab
alone?
and went over to my friends, who had to talk me down for an hour.
Johnny, you won't
before
believe
I
what
could
I
come.
seen on the
I
web.
returned back to my house with my friend a day later. Everything was the same.
I went on the
After
deep web.
thoroughly checking around the house, we concluded that there was no one there, nor was there a sign of anyone ever having broken in. I've never gone back to the deep web. My friend suggested it might have been some prank by computer hackers, but the way that girl shrieked, the terror she had on her face,
Yeah.
it convinced me she had been a victim herself.
Johnny,
I wondered if I had stayed on for longer, if I would have become a victim too.
No, probably
Those
not,
men
Johnny.
found me? Was there really someone in the room with me?
No,
There was nothing I could do.
just a
because there
Snapchat
was
filter.
nothing concrete to report to the police.
I hate
What
this.
I did do was throw the computer out and buy a new one.
Oh,
There was no way I could even open it back
Frickin'
up
stupid
after
Dell.
what happened.
what's that say? Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. Oh, that was such a good story. What the hell, dude? Everyone go subscribe to Llama Arts. That was the best animated horror story I've ever seen in my entire life. My animations are almost as good. Okay, I guess we have to go to another one.
Johnny, I went down the deep tube. Johnny, I went down one of the tubes that goes to the deep web, and I see the lady get split like Braveheart.
Never do that again, Johnny. How about that, you smash like. That feel when you finish a scary animation? We're back on Wansee Entertainment because Llama Arts doesn't really upload that much, and his are more of like a once every sort of 6 months thing. How about True Cottage Horror Story animated?
That seems fun.
I don't have any cottages, so I should be
This
good.
event happened when I was around.
Okay, that's a solid step down in mic quality, but we'll give it a chance.
I was going on a family road trip with my
Man, that guy's
parents and
handsome.
siblings. My brother was 16 at the time, and my half-sister was 21.
Chomping on them cheesy
I don't
zits.
completely remember where we were going or where we stayed since it was almost 15
Okay.
years ago. All I remember was that we rented a cottage in a small village. Next to
Where?
the village was a lot of mountains surrounding the perimeter, and there were probably only 20 houses in the village. Next to the
Village?
cottage was a small
Are there
lake
villages
that
in
was
America?
big enough to kayak in, and to the right of the little lake was a small shed.
Oh.
The shed was very old.
The shed was very old.
I really like the descriptive terminology they're using in this story.
And its ceiling had been poorly repaired. There was
Okay.
ivy growing all over it.
Okay.
Although this may not seem scary, the door was wide open,
What is this
and the
music,
place
by the
we were
way?
staying at was all fenced off with a really high fence. This probably
out any
meant that no
browners.
one would be able to come into our property.
So many puzzle pieces to this story.
The shed was very old. The fence was very high. I was a little girl. Village. Bungalow. True. Cottage. I live in a cottage.
Subscribe to Oompaville.
Check it out since we had nothing else to do other than swim in the lake before dinner. Bear
Okay.
in mind,
Why would you
this
go there
happened
if
in
that's
the
all there is to
winter,
do?
Meaning it would get dark much earlier than in the summer.
Wouldn't the lake be cold
We
though?
walked up towards the shed,
Can't
and as
swim
we
in the
walked
lake.
towards it, we realized that a source of
good.
light was shining through the ceiling.
Alien in
It seemed
there.
like it was a normal ceiling light, but was almost like a torch. We saw
Huh.
the light slowly move
flashlight.
around in between the cracks of the shed. Then,
don't call them torches in
one sudden
America.
motion, the light randomly pointed at us. My brother and I were petrified by the situation.
I'm scared by
We
this.
both looked at each other with blank expressions. Our parents were in the lounge watching TV,
Mommy!
so they wouldn't be
Mommy,
able to
Daddy!
hear us at all if we cried out for help.
There's a prowler in the shed!
Cliche, but my big brother is
God.
a very strong person, emotionally, physically, and mentally. So I was surprised when I
like
saw
a
his
weird
lower lip
relationship.
tremble out of the corner of my eye.
His lower
I
lip was
thought he
trembling,
was going to
and his
protect me by
forehead was
telling
bluish
me what
gray.
to do, but instead,
true anime
he just
style.
stood there, frozen, like me, with a petrified face as the bright light blinded us through the gaps between the walls of the shed for what felt like an eternity.
Okay.
Suddenly, the light switched off.
What?
A small sense of relief hit me as the light turned off, but I was still
What?
scared for my life. Because the light was shining on our faces for so long, our eyes were not used to
Oh.
the dark. When we tried to escape by running in the opposite direction
This is actually
towards
scary.
the cottage, we couldn't see where we were going.
Sniff for the
Then,
cheese.
As if the situation couldn't get any worse, we heard a loud shuffling sound coming from the shed.
So not a demon
We
sound,
could
but
hear the
actually
sound
that's-
starting to crescendo as we ran silently towards the cottage. The sound was getting louder and louder. Soon after,
the hell?
I could just make out a hollow voice coming from behind us.
Stop, it's
I hesitantly looked behind me. To my horror, I saw a middle-aged man standing next to the shed with a flashlight in his hand.
God, it's the
His hands
Mothman.
were covered in what looked like blood, and his hair was
Or ketchup.
as if he never showered once in his life.
Oh,
He had a
Jesus,
long
that's
beard
very
that
rude
looked
to
tangled
assume.
and disgusting. In a faint voice, he said, "Come here, child. I have many toys in here."
Wow! What a sales pitch. That guy, he knows how to get some kids up in his shed. Come here, child. I have very many toys. Chessboards, ball and cup, Monopoly, the old version that takes 10 hours to beat, and also... Did I mention I have ball and cup?
"Do you want to play some games with me?"
No.
He said this with a creepy smile and
You got
eyes
Fortnite
wide
or what?
open without blinking.
You got Fortnite or what?
If he was talking to me,
Got a
I
different light.
instantly screamed as loud as I could, and my brother grabbed my hand with dear life as we sprinted back into the cottage. Hugged my brother and sister with tearful eyes. They didn't believe us at first because they were so
Good.
shocked by the situation
Freaking
and
liars.
so confused.
Bunch of freaking dumb
But when they
liars.
saw the monstrous man's face pressed up against the window with a bloody
blood?
butcher's knife in his hand, they screamed in horror and immediately called the police.
What?
Police were nearby since it was a small town, but as the sirens came, we saw the man run
that
back
works.
to his shed, and unfortunately,
He's running faster than
we never
y'all.
caught him. They asked us what he looked like and what he said to us. The police told us that a girl that looked similar to me and was roughly the same age as me was murdered last month because of that man we saw from the shed.
Oh, but...
I can't imagine
What?
what would have happened if we stayed in a busy town that weekend, or if the police didn't make it in time. I am now scared to go near sheds after that incident.
Now scared to go near sheds after that incident. That guy really gave all sheds a bad name. You think there's just a guy living in every single shed ever that's ever existed? I got a shed. There's nobody in it. At least I don't think there is. Oh shit! Maybe there's a Mothman out there. Also, this girl and her brother seem to have a very interesting relationship, given the descriptor words she decided to describe him with as well.
I will never be the same. A situation like this has not happened since, but I really hope that man is either caught or is being chased by the police, because those few moments scarred me for life.
He's probably dead. Dead. It looked like he was 80. It looked like he was 80. Wasn't doing too well. It was 15 years ago. If he's 80, he's either 95 and still slashing, or he's fucking dead.
Or it's just not real and it's fake story. There was a lot of plot armor in that one. Not gonna lie, guys. My Playmate horror story animated. It looks good. My invisible Playmate. Oh, God.
I was 8 years old. I didn't have any friends. My
Wow,
mom
that's
wouldn't
actually
allow me
relatable.
to play outside with the other kids in our neighborhood. I
Why?
was always alone.
Why
The
was
only
your mom...
playmates I had were my cousins and my brother, but it took 3 hours and 25 minutes to get to their houses.
Mom sounds like a fucking
One
bitch.
day, my mom let me play outside with the kids in our
play
neighborhood
outside
for
today.
the first time because she was going somewhere, maybe to work or to run errands.
What? So she won't let her play outside until she leaves? Then she lets her play outside? I'm sorry, what?
I got my dolls and other toys and was excited to play with the kids outside.
Okay.
When I got there, no one wanted to play.
Aww.
The attempt
Because
was
you're probably
useless,
8
but
and playing with
then
dolls and toys.
Someone approached me.
Some boy.
He had puppy eyes and was cute.
Oh, God.
We quickly became playmates.
Did you not notice his gray skin and dirty old clothes? Not to mention what looks like a noose mark around his neck. And also the fact that he's wearing suspenders! That's a red flag, bud.
Even though he was a boy,
Hello,
he
mate.
would join me for tea parties with my dog.
Oh, just a little
He
chimney
also
sweep.
invited me to play with him at his house.
What the fuck, dude?
Don't play with me at my old chimney house down the street, right? It's just a big old chimney. We can go down inside, right? And I can kill you. I mean, we can play with it. Ball cut. Come on down
I was
here.
confused because his house looked old,
Yeah, and shitty.
abandoned.
Yeah, it's because
Like
it
hadn't
was.
been cleaned up for almost 12 years. We
12
decided to
years.
go play in
What
his
an
garden.
arbitrary number she
When we
chose.
got there, I puked. I didn't know why at the time, but for some reason, I was disgusted. He didn't offer me water or anything. He just looked at me grinning and said, "Next time, you're going to sleep here too."
What?
2 weeks after that upsetting experience, I went looking for him. A paper
Excuse
airplane
me,
flew to me out of
demon boy.
nowhere. I picked it up, and when I opened it, I was shocked, scared, and sad. It
And
was a
did you puke?
newspaper clipping. The boy that I
Boy
played
is
with
missing
went
from the
missing
village.
9 years ago. I ran to my bedroom, and I saw a shadow through my window. I looked at it closely, and it was the boy. He was smiling. Today, I'm 19 years old, and I still remember that part of my childhood so clearly.
Damn. Don't tell me it's over. Still better writing than Game of Thrones Season 8. That requires a lot of jumps to believe that story. But regardless of that, they say truth is stranger than fiction. Let's do one more. My new house is haunted. I just bought a new house and I'm moving in like 3 weeks. So this will make me scared. This will make me good and scared. That's good. We'll see if this one's even believable. Let's see.
10 years ago,
Yes!
my 3-year-old son and I moved to a house from our apartment.
Damn, 3-year-old
It was a
son.
very old building, and the inside of the house always seemed to be just a little
Little
darker
Rugrats character.
and just a little colder than it should have been.
Damn!
Not long after we moved in, a friend of mine came to visit. The whole time we were sitting and talking, she seemed very uncomfortable. When I looked at her face, I noticed that something in the other room had caught her attention. Her eyes
guy's got the same
wide,
hairline as me.
and she said, "I have to go." I
What?
asked her what was wrong, but she refused to tell me. Her odd
you
reaction was freaking me out, so I kept after her. On her way out the door,
What kind of
she
friend is
finally
that?
blurted out, "This house is haunted."
Haunted.
But she wouldn't tell me what it was, or
There's a name.
what made her think so. To this day, she still refuses to tell me what she saw.
She sounds like a dumb of a friend, to be honest with you. I would never speak to her ever again, even though it looks like you did a little bit more than speak with her, if you know what I'm saying, guys. That little boy really resembles his mom. Am I right? Oh!
About a week later, my 3-year-old son casually asked me who the old lady in the bathroom was.
Bud!
One day,
Son?
I was leaving my house for
The old
work,
ladies.
and I got to the car and I realized I needed to run back in the house to get something.
But
I walked into the house, and as soon as I got inside, this framed photo on the wall shot off the wall. It didn't fall down. It shot horizontally away from the wall, and it landed on a mosaic table with enough force to break some of the tiles off of it. I felt like whatever was in the house was pissed,
Damn!
and that I came back
Angry.
in after it
Call
thought I
Maury.
had left for the day.
Go, Dr. Phil. Send that
After
bitch
living
demon
in
to the
the house
ranch.
for about 6 months, I noticed a weird square cut into the boards on the deck.
Oh.
There was no handle, but I was able to pry it up.
Oh, God!
The hole was just big enough to fit
You
through,
ever seen him dead?
and there was a ladder going down.
Are you...
For some reason,
Under
I
the
went
deck?
down and I found myself in what looked like a homemade basement. It was basically just a room dug out of the earth, with no
dude's brave as
construction
fuck.
walls or stone supports or anything like that. It was very dark, but I could see something over in the corner. It was a suspicious looking stone. It looked like one of those old headstones you see in cemeteries.
You mean...
Then some insects started jumping on me, so I got out of the basement as fast as I could. and never went
demons!
back. Now this is the part that affected me the most.
Okay.
It's also the reason we left the house. One night I was in bed laying on my stomach just about to fall asleep, and I heard someone walk into my room. The footsteps came from the doorway over to my bed.
Claws, dude!
I didn't realize until later that the fact that I heard the footsteps was weird because the room was carpeted. When the footsteps reached my bed, I felt someone put their hands on my back. 2 hands, just gently laid flat on my back and kept me there.
This doesn't seem.
I assumed it was my son. "What are you doing?" I asked, but there was no answer. I looked up. No one was there. I got up and checked my son's bedroom, and he was in bed fast asleep.
Little bastard.
We moved out soon
Sleeping on his back.
and we never looked back.
Well, it doesn't even sound like that bad of a demon. Slightly delayed reaction. If I had a demon like that, I wouldn't be that scared. Man, it's a nice demon, just like rubbing you to sleep. I have dreams about this fucking sloth that lives under my bed. All right, it's a sloth, but it has the body of a boar vessel. 600 to 500 BC, Etruscan ceramic. It's a little different than a normal sloth, but it's got these big long arms and it like grabs my feet whenever I get off my bed and stuff. To be able to get rid of it, you have to grab it by its arms and hit it against the wall. Very strange dream, but that's why I have this crackhead strength, guys, because I'm getting jacked in my dreams. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like if you'd like to see more. If you're new to the channel, consider pressing the sub button. Follow me on all the stuff on the screen here. And here are the best comments from the previous episode. Cole caption: when Oompa only has female merch in stock. The Shrek caption: when your mom says you're 10 years old, but you're really 15, but you have to play along for the discount. Horse Julie 3010 caption: when you're early, but you don't know what to comment. Also, love your vids, are funny. Thank you. Avril Stories caption: when Oompaville doesn't say bud moment or lean in for a sniff in a video. There you go. Anyways, thanks for the comments, guys. Leave some more for the next one. Special thanks to my producers, Alexis Lovell, Bobbert Lofton, Broadway Pixels, Dadgum, Morgan Freeman, Matthew, Nicolian Dynamite, Ryan Forbes, and Zedskay.